the disrespect, the delusions, the receipts, the attitudes. Let's talk about it. Iyanla fixed my life. Engaged and enraged. And at first, when I saw that title, I thought they were putting a lot on it. But you guys, we got a couple of things that we can get into on this episode of Iyanla Fix My Life. And, we're always going to try to go as quick as we can. But specifically today, we do need to because I am on my lunch break. And I forgot my fork. So I got to run to Kroger, buy a couple of things, and then give me a fork in the process so I can eat my food. So let's try to get this done. I think we can do it in 15 minutes. What y'all think? Well, we already at 50. Let's aim for 15, shall we? Okay, so let's talk about a few of the things that went on. So we have this couple, right? Black couple, man and wife. And the man is a diabetic. He has recently had his leg amputated. Was it from the knee down? I'm guessing it's from the knee down. He's had his leg amputated. And they are planning to get married. They're planning a wedding. And they came to Iyanla Fix My Life because they're dealing with the adjustment of him no longer having his leg and just the problems that they're having in their relationship now because of this. And they're hoping that Iyanla can give them something so that they can communicate better, talk about what's going on, reveal what's going on and how each of them feel, and then move forward from there, right? It's raining. I got a little raindrop on my glasses. So I'm thinking, okay, immediately I'm thinking in my mind, they're going to be making some adjustments. This is probably a lot for him to handle, probably a lot for her to handle. She's probably taking care of him. I came in it with the understanding already. And what this episode did for me, can't speak for anybody else, but there were a couple of things that it caused me to examine about myself. And at this point, y'all probably thinking I'm just the most terrible person because I'm always examining something about myself when Iyanla comes on. But I'll just say that I'm my biggest critic. And it's not hard for me to pick out flaws about myself, but I will say sometimes I'm not good at picking out the good things about myself. But I can pick out my flaws. But I can't get defensive when other people pick them out because I done already pointed out my own stuff. You don't get to talk about me. But when I watched this episode, there were a couple of things that it pointed out. And one of the first things that we need to ask ourselves when we're getting married, forget the wedding, forget the love, even forget all of that, and ask yourself, can you do in sickness and in health, through good times and bad times? Sit down and really ask yourself that question. Really ask yourself that question. Being who you are, can you do both? Because I'm going to be honest, I had to ask myself those questions. And I'm not getting married, but I had to think about it. I had to put it into context. And I'm not talking about when you just get old. See, that's what everybody be thinking. Well, we both going to be old and we're going to take care of each other. What if it doesn't come to that? What if it's when you're in your 30s, early 40s, 20s? In sickness and in health, in good times and in bad times, are you capable? My stepdad just tore his rotator cuff. My mom has had to take a week off work to take care of him. Imagine if that had to be her life every day. Are you capable? Ask yourself. So we move into the conversation. And as they're talking, Iyanla is realizing, what, they both being kind of, they're censoring themselves. I'm going to have to separate them and talk to them one by one. And both of them are just kind of saying that, they haven't really communicated about what's going on. They've just been kind of pushing forward. He even says that he's dealt with his trauma in relation to losing his leg. And so when Iyanla is walking him through the type of trauma he may be experiencing, have you dealt with not being able to work? Have you dealt with this, that, all these other things? And he's just like, okay, well, maybe I haven't, but this is important. What he says is, I know that this is something I'm going to have to experience the rest of my life, and I have to move forward. That's not what she's asking you. She's asking you, have you dealt with the emotional side? And that's what a lot of people don't get. When Iyanla says, have you dealt with the trauma? She's not asking you, have you cried about it? Have you worked it out in your mind? She's asking you, have you dealt with all the emotional ramifications that have come from whatever you've experienced in life? And he has not. Okay, I think we can see that. He has not. Now, Ray, He ain't a bad looking brother. K64 has lost a lot of weight, and we got to stop right now and give it up to bruh for losing the amount of weight that he has lost, 200 and some odd pounds. Okay? And I know that diabetes, high blood pressure, something that's very prevalent in the African American community. I know that largely a lot of that can be prevented, but then you got juvenile diabetes and all these other stuff and the genetic component. But I just want to say to all the fitness people out there and your health nuts, I know that when we saw Ray, I know that my thought was, when he told me his leg was amputated, when we found out his leg was amputated, my immediate thought was, I don't think his diabetes is being managed properly. And just based off some of the other things that we found out as the show went on, I would probably say that was true. He wasn't managing his diabetes well, but he's trying to do so now so that he does not lose any more limbs. In addition to that, you have to have the right partner in place that's willing to help you with those things. In addition to that, you have to care about your health and really want to move forward. So, I know a lot of people probably had a lot to say about his weight and the diabetes and the things that we eat. The black community needs to do better. And I know all of that, you guys. But I'm just going to say to all the people out there that's going to start it, shaming people is not a community building tool. There's a way to teach people better without making them feel ashamed of themselves. And it's something that we all need to learn. But I could talk about that for a long time. But moving forward, I do hope that he plans to take better care of himself, though, from here on out. All right. It's easy for us to say it, especially if you're not a diabetic, especially if you didn't grow up with diabetes, because it sounds like he's had it for a while. It's easy for us to say what we would and wouldn't do, but y'all would be surprised how much sugar that you eat on a daily basis and don't even realize it. I didn't realize it till I downloaded MyFitnessPal. I was eating all kind of sugar because I'm a fruit nut. I love fruit. And it has a lot of sugar content in it. But anyway. Okay, so I got off subject. This is going to be longer than 15 minutes. What was I talking about? Okay, so once they separate, we kind of get to some of the issues that are going on. And we start with the lady. The one, what's her name? Jillian? We start with the woman, right? I'm just going to call her Bad Attitude because she had one. All right. So when they sit down and they start talking, Iyanla's asking her, what's been going on? How are you feeling about the loss of this limb? And how are things working out in your relationship? And she's just saying that they don't talk about it. She can't get him to open up about it. They talk about everything else, but they don't talk about that. Tell me about your relationship. Oh, our relationship is good. We're like the best of friends. You're like the best of friends, but y'all don't talk about his situation. That don't make sense to me. You haven't opened up to him about how you feel, and she does have some resentment for the situation because he can't work, because it's simple things that he used to do that he can't do anymore. She's taking care of everything financially. She's trying to take care of him, and she's a little bit frustrated, and there's some resentment there. She also says there was a time where he used to cater to her. He used to treat her a certain type of way, and she's used to dealing with men who treat her that way, who treat me well and give me things and do things for me. And he doesn't do those things anymore, and it's a little frustrating. Okay. So what Iyanla is trying to get her to understand is this. You're carrying some resentment that you're not able to even talk to this man about, but you claim that this man is like your best friend and y'all can talk about anything and he gets you. I'm asking you about your relationship and what is it that makes you want to marry this man? Not just that you love him, because she kept saying, I love him, I love him, I love him. What makes you want to be committed to a man who has lost limbs, who has health problems? What makes you want to build with this man? And Jillian only saw what Iyanla was doing in the question she was asking as trying to make it seem like they didn't need to be together. Like they weren't for each other. Like she wanted them to break up. And I almost wondered if something was cut out because they jumped to her feeling that way so quickly. And Iyanla said, I'm not trying to make it that you all aren't together. I'm here to ask y'all the hard questions that might make you uncomfortable. I'm trying to see some things because you guys are focused on one aspect and not really focused on the long term. They kept talking about the wedding and all of this stuff they were going to do. Honey, a wedding is a moment. A marriage is a lifetime. It's supposed to be. And you got to be ready for that. So the way that she kept talking, y'all, and maybe it was just me, But the more and more I listened to her, I started to believe that she may have been a little selfish. In sickness and in health, in good times and through bad times. That is a selfless pursuit. It is a selfless partnership. Now, should you still be getting some of the things that you want? Yes. But you can never go into a marriage thinking about yourself first. And some of the stuff that she kept saying, like, whenever Iyanla would ask her, so what is your problem? And, why aren't you able to talk about it? And what is it that you're really feeling that's missing? Well, he just used to do things for me now that he doesn't do. And I feel like I don't know that person that used to do all these things for me. It was all about what he did for me. The children that we're not going to be able to have the way that I want to have them. The way that he behaves when what he doesn't do for me. I would venture to say that she's not ready for the two things that I mentioned, in sickness and in health, and through good times and through bad times. And a lot of us aren't, if we really want to be honest with each other. Iyanla made some good points. Love ain't enough. There's so many things that you need other than love to build a marriage with somebody. You need loyalty, you need trust, you need respect, which we're getting on next. And she's missing so many of those other components. But she's so focused on, but I love him, but I love him, but I love him. What else? Is there anything else? So then we move over to Ray. Now, Ray was talking good, okay, initially. I felt like Ray was talking good. This Wi-Fi thing keep popping up. So when she's talking to Ray, Ray reveals to Iyanla that he's had other limbs removed. He lost all 10 of his toes. So that's why I think that his diabetes, he may not have been always managing it well. Especially with the amount of weight he said he had on him. And I hope, Ray, that you realize how important it is to take control of your health. You don't have to lose any more limbs, but you got to take control. So he's telling Iyanla that, he understands that this is something that he has to deal with and that things have to keep moving forward. Even if he's not feeling ready, just because he's not ready doesn't mean that things shouldn't keep moving forward, was what he told Iyanla. Like, things should continue. The wedding should continue. The relationship needs to continue. The way that we were living, it needs to continue. Just because I don't feel up to it doesn't mean it doesn't need to happen. Do y'all know how crazy that sounds? Do you? When you're not emotionally equipped to handle something, you don't just barrel through it anyway. That's probably why a lot of us are in the predicaments that we're in life, in the houses that we're in the relationships that we're in. Kids we weren't ready for, all of this other stuff. You don't just barrel through life and never deal with the emotional side of what you're dealing with. So we move on. Then he tells Iyanla that his woman can be a little controlling. She can be a little controlling sometimes, and she'll try to take the reins a lot of the times, and she doesn't give me the opportunity to do this, do that, and she feels like she has to do this, and sometimes that can get a little frustrating. Then Iyanla shows him protect, provide, all of these things that his wife has said that she needs, and she's asking him, are you able to do these things right now? What about the protection part? He feels like he can protect her. No matter what, he can protect her. Okay, what about this one? Do you feel like you can do that? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm sorry. When we get to the providing part, do you feel like you can do that? Not right now. No, not right now. I can't. Sexually, no, not right now. Okay, that's another thing. The medication that he's on. See, at first I thought they was talking about because he ain't had no leg. And I was like, let me tell you now, I done dealt, back in the day, my boo at the time, like I had just graduated college or something, and we were dating, and he had broken his leg, and had a cast from the thigh all the way down, and the things can still get done, but actually the medication is making it so that he can't perform. So that's another problem in their relationship. And it's frustrating, I'm sure. Y'all, when I first started this episode, I was never here to demonize Jill or Jillian, whatever her name was. I was never here to demonize that woman because I had to really put it in perspective in sickness and in health. When you're dealing with somebody who you're used to doing, y'all 50-50. Let me just say that, even though I don't think so. Let me say they was 50-50, giving each other, doing for each other, and all of a sudden they can't. That is a shock. That is a lifestyle change. And I wish she would have been more honest about her hurt instead of coming off the way that she did, which we'll talk about. I felt bad for her initially, but slowly and surely it started to change. And for all them people who did not, the things that she was saying, they were a little off-putting, and some of them did sound selfish, but I still understood where she was coming from with it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm sure this is very, very difficult. This is not probably what you signed up for, but it's where you are. Can you handle it? And let's not act like all of us would be able to handle it. Because some of them ones that's talking real slick about what they would do for their man, would you really? You really got to ask yourself. Sickness and health, good times and bad times. I'm going to keep saying it. So, when they get the two back together, Iyanla wants to play a game because she feels like they're both having some trust issues with Iyanla, okay, with some of the things that they're saying. So when they play this game, they didn't even really reveal what happened in their first argument. The delusion, like I said earlier. They're both delusional about where they are in their relationship, but they only get delusional when they get together. They only get delusional when they're in the woman's presence. When Ray is separate from her, he's very clear on what needs to happen, or at least a little more clear than she is. So Iyanla asked them the question, after they had asked a bunch of questions about the relationship, played a relationship game, what would happen if you two were not to get married, A, or B, you were to lose him? What would happen? Because he wrote down that he believes that that's one of her biggest fears, is losing him. And she said she didn't answer that question because she doesn't understand why it's worded that way. Why you got to say that we're not getting married? We are getting married. I didn't like the way the question was worded, so I didn't answer it. And so then he says, for his question, I will not say, what if I don't marry Jill, or what if I do lose her, because I will just show you that I am going to marry her, and I am going to do this, and I am going to do that. And then Iyanla said, look, y'all want to do this my way, or y'all want to do it your way? Because we can do it your way, but you came to me, you called me. And they said they're going to do it her way. However, they got ramifications. Because they don't seem to understand that Ray is still this person who can provide and protect. You told me yesterday I couldn't protect. And I was just like, Ray. Oh, you watching the same show we watching, bruh? Because she never told you that. I rewound it myself before they even did the playback. Because I love her receipts. She never said that. She pointed at a word and said, is this something that you can do right now? Are you capable? And you said, no, not right now. You said that. You said it. And Iyanla is telling them, like, listen, you guys are putting words in my mouth. They even sat there and put words in each other's mouth. When Iyanla finally revealed what happened on the one-on-ones, you said she was controlling, and you said that you have resentment for him. Now, he took the resentment part, but she gets emotional. And I didn't know that you felt like I was too controlling and I was making you feel like less of a man. I had no idea. He never said that. And when Iyanla is trying to tell her, he didn't say that. No, he did. And that's how I feel. See, Iyanla's always telling women, stand up in it. And a lot of times she's talking about the parent, like as a mother, be there for your child, be able to stand up emotionally and listen to what they got to say. Don't break down because that'll stop them from revealing. But we got to do that even in our relationships, you guys. Even when people are trying to critique us, people we love. Now, don't just let anybody be trying to tell you off. But when somebody's coming to you in a loving way and telling you you're doing things that are hurting me, we do have to learn how to take it without breaking down. Or else nobody's ever going to tell you the truth and you might need to hear it. And I have a problem with that. And I've learned those behaviors from watching people around me do it. My mom used to get very defensive when you would talk about our parenting. My mom has grown. She doesn't do that anymore. But it didn't happen until I was an adult. And so now I've had to make sure that when people try to talk to me, I don't go into breakdown. Or else, how they gonna talk to me? How they gonna tell me anything? I'm hurt. But I'm trying to learn how to deal with it and take it and talk about it. Cause they not down in me, they're down in the behavior. And it's a part of me. But I can work on it. And that's one of the things. Everybody talking about mental health and going to therapy. If you're going to go to therapy, you need to be prepared to hear about yourself. Or don't go. Same thing with couples therapy, family therapy. It's going to be some stuff there that you don't like. And Ray was taking it. He was taking it. Because Iyanla had to pull him to the side later and say, listen, I never said that to you. You said it. We can do this red or blue pill. You want to be in the matrix or you want the real thing? He wanted the real thing. And he was able to sit back and say, you know what? Yeah, I made a misstep there. I do want the real. I do want us to get to a good point in our relationship. She asked him, why would you say that you were passive? Because that's what he said when they got together. That's why he don't go back and forth with her and he let her control because he's a little passive. He'd rather not argue. As a black man, why would you say that you're passive? Well, you're trying to act like something is wrong with being passive. No, she did not say that. What she's saying is that as a black male with this very strong female, why would you just allow things to slide and not assert yourself as a person? Why would you allow yourself to be disrespected, because that's the bottom black ass line, and not stand up for yourself as a person? What? We didn't hear you, Ray. So then she tells him that his woman got a nice nasty attitude. And they need to talk to her about it. Here he come. Well, I apologize if she said anything. Don't apologize for her. She a grown woman. Why are you doing that? It was so frustrating to watch. So frustrating. Then finally, when we do get her back, she is being nice nasty. Now she's upset that she's been sitting in the hotel lobby for 2 hours. And let me tell you, I would have been hotter than fish grease too. If nothing else, I do feel like production should have updated her on what was going on and offered an apology when they didn't, because that is unprofessional. That's just my opinion. But when she gets back with Iyanla, she's talking like this. I'm fine. What's wrong with you? Are you having a good day? I'm having a great day. I'm speaking to you. I don't have an attitude. You're the one yelling. You're the one yelling. Passive aggressive. And it always makes you look stupid, because that's how she looked. She's going back and forth with Iyanla about them being unprofessional and trying to get her riled up for TV ratings. Girl, this ain't Love and Hip Hop. Nobody's trying to get you. You're going to be on one episode of Iyanla Fix My Life. It's not even that. It ain't that serious. I ain't going to say you ain't important, but it ain't that serious. So Iyanla's more and more trying to explain to her what's going on. She is just going back and forth with Iyanla. She don't believe it. They get back in the house. Ray done switched it up again. Whenever he gets in the presence of his woman, he becomes this man that his woman want him to be. And let me tell you, just because you speaking up don't mean you not a punk. Because you ain't even speaking up on the right thing. Stand up in it. Say, hey, you know what? You do sometimes have an attitude. Got the nerve to say, well, she don't talk to me like that. You're lying. The delusions. Because she had you arrested for drinking the last soda in the refrigerator. And you don't need to be drinking soda anyway. But you want to tell us that she don't handle you like that. Oh, okay. When Iyanla shook her head, did this, and said she was done with it, I was glad, because I didn't want to see no more of the two of them. Ray is living in a fantasy world. He's delusional. He just want to have a woman for the sake of having a woman. Don't want to be alone. Probably don't want to have to deal with not having nobody to take care of him. Probably still got a little bit of the big boy syndrome, feeling like he just should be grateful to have somebody. Bruh, trust me, it's somebody for you. It is somebody for you. And then for her to be nasty and rude the way that she was being. Yes, I feel like she was owed an apology for having to wait. I do. But for you to cut up the way that you were doing the entire time, thinking somebody was trying to break you up from your man, what you come for? What you come for if you ain't want to answer the hard questions? You thought everybody was going to get up there and feel sorry for you and say, oh, you're taking care of this man and we feel sorry for you? No. Things happen. Sickness and in health. Good, bad times. You got the time right now to run out the door if you feel like you can't handle it. But ain't nobody catering to you. You're 36 years old. You're not 15. Stop it. It's ridiculous. She got on my nerves, but Ray, you wasn't no better. And we as black women, we're going to have to learn how to navigate through life without being so defensive whenever somebody tries to point out things to us that we can work on. Especially if they're coming in love, and especially if we ask for their help. And for men like Ray, you don't need to be passive and bow down to nobody who's going to treat you that way. You deserve respect as well. And if you are going to stand for being treated like that, don't expect for us to ring the sympathy alarm for you either. But y'all can go on. I don't think they need to get married. And Ray, what you need to do, find you a woman who don't mind putting you on a dietary plan. Don't mind going to the gym with you and falling in love with that demon that is working out. Because I know you got a lot of loose skin. Y'all can work on it together. Get in shape. Get flirty. Hopefully, that'll help you wean off some of that medication that you might be on so you can manage your diabetes. And get them things back working right. And get you a woman who will not mind stabilizing that leg on the side of the bed and commence to backing it up. Because it can be done. You ain't heard that from me, though. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I done went way over my time, but they done pissed me off. Don't ever come asking for help, get the help, and then want to talk about how the help is done. I'm finished. I'll talk to y'all later on something else. It's too long. Bye.